When Teagan was born, I physically felt my heart grow. As soon as she was born and I looked at her, I just felt so much more love coming from my body for another little human.
When Teagan was born, we were told that she had a heart murmur. It was nothing abnormal, and it was kind of assumed that she'd grow out of it.
When Teagan was 3, she had an ear infection, and we had gone in, got antibiotics, it wouldn't go away, so I called to go back in, and we saw the nurse practitioner. She felt like the murmur that we had known about since birth actually wasn't a normal sound.
So I didn't originally plan on going, because Teagan's an asymptomatic kid. So, after about 2 hours, 3 hours, I realized something was wrong.
In her particular case, the valves that let the blood into the heart, which we call the atrioventricular valves, are also malformed, so they tend to leak. So that constellation of problems, we call it an atrioventricular septal defect, and that's what she had. If you think of the heart like an apple, there's a bite right out of the core of the apple. There's missing parts right in the middle. And that involves the walls that normally separate the two sides of the heart. And that in itself causes too much work for the heart. Where her hole lives in the heart puts it near some very dangerous things.
I didn't really process the magnitude of it, I think, probably for a while. And the harder time is being the support system.
It happened pretty quick that they took her back. But I looked in her eyes and I said, I love you. I'll see you soon. And after they took her, I thought this may actually be the last time I get to say that to her. I may never look in her eyes again. She had wires everywhere. And I just wanted her to open her eyes and look at me. And that moment that she did, and I could see her eyes again, meant everything to me. The day of surgery after, the staff kept telling us to save up your energy, make sure you're eating, make sure you're resting, because the day after surgery is the hardest. And they were not kidding.
It was pretty incredible how well she did. So she obviously is going to be struggling through it and mad and hurting, but she was a little champ.
For Teagan, one of the biggest struggles was the drain tube. We got her to walk down the hall, and we got to the end of the hallway where we saw the doctor who had told her, if you can walk and we don't see fluids come out, we can remove the tube. So we get to the end of the hallway, and Teagan looks right at him and starts doing ballet. She balleted her way into drain tube removal.
They told me to hold my breath before they ripped the tube out. I was really brave, even though I'm hurt.
Teagan is a firecracker. She has a ton of energy. She is a very strong-willed person. I believe she will run the world one day. She is loud and in charge.
I second that. So she is a leader. So she is the girl that will never be taken advantage of, which is great. And she commands a room. With Teagan's condition, she's got a slight leakage that she will always be dealing with. We appreciate all the work that goes into the research and the foundations and the studies and what American Heart Association has been able to do to raise money to help the doctors and the scientists and the researchers determine what's going on.
We haven't cured heart disease. We haven't come close to curing heart disease. So the more the American Heart Association can make those funds available, the better.
Thank you.